What's up, guys? T5 and Made Destroyer here. I had a video. You know, today we're gonna talk about something. Madden 18 just came out, and they added in the story mode and some other stuff into the game. So I figured this Madden game in particular, might bring in a little more fans than usual, with it having an actual narrative story mode and having like cooperative ultimate team and the MUT squads. So I'm gonna do top 3 things that intermediate or beginner Madden players do that I see that will make it a lot more difficult for you guys to win games. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I see a lot of like new Madden players do, and like this is very common, okay? Like this is the most common thing, and that's why it's number 3 out of the 3 things on the list. This is the most common thing that I see people do. There's way too much passing the ball. People pass way too much. Sometimes establishing the run game in a game of Madden will win you the game before throwing a long pass down the field, throwing it up to your best receiver and hoping he catches it. That is a risk, whereas running the ball is so much, less of a risk. It's just worth doing more than it is passing. I can tell you that I probably gotten more first downs running the ball than I've gotten, passing the ball down the field the whole time. Okay, running the ball, smash mouth football right up the middle all game is going to get you more first downs in the long run. You run the ball up the middle, you get 4 or 5 yards a carry, even 2 yards a carry. You can set yourself up in a really good 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 situation where you can throw a nice little drag route or a nice little quick slant right across the middle and pick up that first down. Running the ball sets you up a lot better, sets you up in better situations in 3rd or 4th down if you really need to go for it in 4th. So you definitely want to run the ball more. Actually, the stream I did with Twisted K, he's not going to like that I'm doing this right now because he really wants to forget about that Madden game, but that is why he was blown out on Madden 17 so bad, because he probably only ran the ball 2 or 3 times throughout that whole game. If we look at the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons versus the New England Patriots, the Super Bowl, the most recent Super Bowl. The New England Patriots came back because the Falcons were trying to blow the Patriots out, okay? The Falcons were throwing touchdowns. They were doing very well in the pass game. I understand if you're doing very well, you want to keep going. But passing the ball is very risky, okay? And that's what was happening. There was turnovers by the Falcons, too much passing the ball, and they had 2 of the best backs in the league in the backfield, and they did not run the ball enough. Running the ball and passing the ball, you have to balance them out. If you don't balance them out, you're not going to do as well. Okay, I can accept you running the ball more than you pass it, and I can accept you passing the ball more than you run it, but you don't want to be passing the ball every single play over and over, just throwing it through the air. Okay, it's not going to work out well, especially if your opponent knows what they're doing defensive wise and they're applying pressure to your quarterback. Eventually that pressure will get to you and you will mess up eventually. Whereas running the ball, you can run up the middle. If that doesn't work, you can run the toss. If that doesn't work, you can run to the 4 or the 6 hole with a halfback stretch or something of that nature. There's so many different ways to run the ball. It's a very hard strategy to stop. In the gameplay that you ever see from me on any Madden, even if my run game isn't working, I'm pounding at it. I'm still going, because getting the run game established in a game of Madden is what will win you games. It is very, very important. If you run the ball once and it doesn't work, do not be discouraged by that, okay? I ran the ball out the middle, got nothing right here. I tossed it outside, picked up the first down and more. I ended up scoring a touchdown here. This is what I mean. That right there is what I mean. You have to run the football. You have to get the run game established in a game of Madden. The next super common mistake that I see by new Madden players is going for it on 4th down. Now, I am about to teach you, yes, you watching this video who is very new to Madden and might need a tip on going for it on 4th or even going for 2. You don't want to do it very often, okay? I will give you a good scenario and a bad scenario to go for it on 4th down. And I will also give you a reasonable reason why you think it's good to go for it on 4th down right now, but it really isn't. First, not so good scenario to go for it on 4th. You're backed up in your 20. It's the 4th quarter and there's 3 minutes left in the game. Okay? It's 4th and let's say 8. And the other team that you're playing against has been locking up your run game pretty much all game. You can't go up the middle, you can't run a toss, you can't run a stretch. All you can do at this point is pass the ball. The most risky way to move the ball down the field. You do not go for it in this situation. Because if you don't get it, you are now giving the other team really, really good field position, okay? Field positioning is very important in a game of Madden. Punting, getting good punts, punting the ball is more important than people think it is. If you're backed up in your 20 and you punt the ball and it gets all the way back to your 40 or your 50, now you've taken them back into where they're in not so good field position. They're not going to get an easy touchdown or easy points on you at all. But if you don't get the conversion, if you do not convert on 4th down, now they're somewhere in between the 20-yard line and the 28-yard line because it was 4th and 8. And they're probably bound to get at least 3 points off of you, and you're already losing. This is not going to put you in a good situation. Now, I'm thinking that you use your timeouts wisely throughout this game. So now they have the ball, they have 3 minutes, and maybe you can use your timeouts wisely or your timeout wisely and get the ball back. Play some good defense and lock up. You have to trust your defense. You know, that's why I don't advise going for it on 4th down a lot. You must trust your defense in order to win games. Defense wins games. So trust your defense and don't go for it on 4th down when you're behind your own 50. A good time to go for it on 4th down when you're pretty much anywhere beyond your own 50-yard line. Okay? So even if you're literally at the 50, if you don't get it, they still have half the length of the field to go. And it's especially great to go for it on 4th down and get that extra chance if you're anywhere between the 30-yard line and the end zone and you're about to score. If you don't feel like you can make the field goal or something like that and you want to go for it on 4th down, 4th and 10, 4th and 12, 4th and whatever, you can do that because you're not giving up very good field position to the other team and giving them an easy score. So, the last and final tip for Madden NFL 18, if you're a new player. So, if you did not know, there is no heat seeker on this year's hit stick, and even this is messing with me. I've missed a very good number of tackles by trying to hit stick and missing. On Madden NFL 18, the hit stick is not reliable at all. Okay? You should not, and I repeat, you should not be hit sticking on every tackle like you could in 17 and 16. There is no heat seeker on the hit stick. Okay? You can use the hit stick, but only if you know for a fact you are perfectly lined up to make that hit. Especially if you're playing in competitive mode where the game rewards user jukes, user tackles, user hit sticks, user picks, user anything that the user does well. Competitive mode will reward that. So if you get lined up perfectly for that hit stick in competitive mode, blow that receiver, that quarterback, that running back up, that tight end up. He most likely will fumble just because of the way that the sliders work in competitive mode. But it also rewards the guy carrying the ball. Okay? especially if you're playing online or against your friend in your house, right at your house. That's what I love doing. That's one of the great selling points for Madden. It's one of the most fun games to just sit down and play against your friends and have a lot of fun. So if he hits that juke button and you hit that hit stick, user juke, he's rewarded for that, okay? He's going to move out the way of that. But if you did hit the hit stick, you will be heavily rewarded. But the hit stick is one of the riskiest tackles in the game, and you don't want to be doing that every single time. So really, the gist with this, what you need to get a good way, a good thing to have in your head while you're playing Madden, you want to go with the safest options for a lot of things. This is my play style. I'm not a throw it down the field kind of guy. I want to throw it short and run the ball all game. Yes, like high risk, high reward type stuff. If you think like that, if you feel like if I go for this hit stick every single time, eventually I get it and eventually a fumble will happen. But that is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that person will fumble. And it's very high risk, so if they move out of the way, they will gain substantially more yards when you could have just pressed X and made a short tackle just like that, okay? So if what I'm going to tell a new Madden player is try not to take the riskiest option there. Try to go with low risk and play the game very patiently. I said this in the end of my latest Madden 17 stream. You can go watch the last maybe 10 minutes. I talked about this. You know, you have to be very patient. The first touchdown that I scored in that game against Twisted K, it took me a whole quarter, 5 4-minute quarters to get that touchdown. It took me a whole quarter. You take your time. You play slowly, methodically, and strategically. You play low risk, and you will win more Madden games just like that. I can guarantee you. But that is all for today, guys. Peace out.